Greetings, all of you. My name's Preston Maybank. I am Celestine's son and Carl's grandson. Great-grandson, I meant. Stepson. And he asked me just to, by way of introduction, to say hello and to greet you all. I see but one familiar face that I know for all my life, Jeff Tedlis, and I don't have so much to say except to introduce my mother and to let you know that growing up with her, I knew that every day was an adventure. And that's how she raised us, to sort of appreciate what was coming down the line. My mother is a poet, and kind of growing up with a poet, I guess you think that everyone is a poet, and her life, in my life with her and observing her, she was always making something and continues. She and Carl are constantly making things. And it's an inspiration to see that in a world where everything is prefabbed and handed to you. And I could meander on. Anyway, I just want to introduce Celestine Frost, my brilliant, kind, generous mother.
Third Shot, a poem from 1970. I think I'll try another kind of life, I said, mildly, shouldering my load, light. I wouldn't carry much. They brought me a dog then, a puppy, for companionship, protection. You know, those things we need. Thank you, I said. That was nice. Shot it twice between the eyes and left with only my knife. No regrets, no dice, no toothbrush. The horseless carriage, the one we call the Firefly, coming down the road in darkness, picks out something with her lights, shining like a diamond, a star. The engine trembles. No one is crowding us, and the road is so beautiful. The darkness mild and gentle, the shellfish emerging from the sea. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. The time when the fragile automobile, the time when we all liked red, the road winding inland. As the locust split her shell and hurtled into blossom more ardent than the rose, the lightning struck the towering pine and bore her heart away. The shrill-eyed lizard pulled the cotton from her mouth and spoke to the thunder. Lord God of the marshes, sardonically, what a beautiful woman you have captured in your net, lying asleep like an idol carved of green wood and veined with an inlay of ivory, more yellow than the bill of our youngest egret. What would you do with her, laid in your long, winding bed of the violet and aromatic waters? What generation will rise from the river crying, Father? Before answering, the thunder turned his shoulders sidewise and rolled his dance of death. Thrice, wrathfully, the net of spindrift flew from his fingers like fire from a blue magician, until at last he hauled it in, his roar receding, the casted spell complete, and he himself content to dwindle, shriveled into it like a spider, drawing with him the wind from the trembling marshes and the woman of bone and feather. the feast. Round the end of the beach where wind had dropped and the world was plasma, colorless and still. Only the scavenger gull, only the day moon spreading and spreading her nets, dragging the channels of the ear for her crop of music. And the nighthawk strafed all flash that signaled flesh to its keen eye. There a half-buried oil drum gave to my touch response without apology or hesitation, so that I first leapt back as a dog tasting blood, scanning and ascertaining the compass of my solitude, then fell to, unleashing a ready and thundering rhythm, tapping some deep source in the rusty barrel until my hands, my arms, my face, my savage face were red with this music which spilled forth, tinging all that sea and sky, gory, ethereal. The island rabbi. You can read, Rabbi, like an enchanted man. Why do you hesitate and look behind you? Why cling to the tree? Why are you dressed like a caterpillar in old green overalls? Rabbi, Rabbi, which letter is first? Which last? Which next to last? To seek for it, he said, the Ephah. He was silenced by the scolding of a bird. Dangling from threads some inchworms, a gymnast alphabet performs an unutterable word. As camphor berries on the tongue caused its involuntary writhing. The name drew speech, praises welling to the lips in an unintelligible language. As camphor, which enters the bloodstream, renders the flesh invulnerable to gnats, mosquitoes, flies, the name, coursing through the rabbi of the islands, renders him oblivious to mockery and scornful eyes. Phylacteries, the harness of the mind, wing-shaped pieces of sea glass, the scriptures, strapped to his forehead with a crab-lie. His fringed shawl is a tattered net to cover his davening head. The prayer of kittens in tall grass comes easily. He calls them. But which is which? There ought to be 7. He's missing 2. Oh, sacred confusion of the numbers. How will he answer to God, G blank D? Calm down, says G blank D. If no other shul has summoned you but marsh, its shoals and schools of little fishes, in this shul shall you serve. At low tide, an eternal view. At high, a spectacle eroded by the sea. The rabbi's eyeglasses are eroded by his weeping. As Moses snoozing in the reeds, the rabbi now lies down in them, a great long-legged shorebird in his nest. The loon, alarmed, laughs once, then rests. The flounder in its quilt of mud is sleeping. Out of the wind and safe, here where those sacred passages have led him, still waters mirror a red sky. His cup runneth over. The listener. Disjointedly, I tell a story that I hardly understand. Silently, you open your ears. Without my knowing it, the keeper leaves the gate, and all the animals come forward. You step back slowly. You hardly seem to move, but I forget the time. Gone blind with innocence, I stumble after you, spilling my story like blonde, loquacious gold, hot coins that burn summer into our eyes forever. They follow you more evenly, the animals. Their hearts are bright apples, clusters of bright apples, for they move as apples on one bough, stirred by the mild ventriloquy of silence.